Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Movie 101 Review. Movie 101 Review is created to empower, of course, movies itself. And today, of course, my co host, Mr. Bob Lemond.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fabulous, fabulous like you, Mr. And how's life?
It's going all right. I'm here at the Movie 101 Theater. Made some
Yes.
popcorn, so we're all set to go.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. Background partner in crime. How did you do that? Can you explain to us how doing the background?
Oh, I did all this in Photoshop, so I did.
Yes,
I a lot of it's clip art, to be honest with you, but I just take different pieces of clip art and put together a picture,
yes. It's
and
nice.
yeah, I think it looks all right. I mean, it's not
Awesome.
fantastic, but it's workable, right?
Yes, definitely. And we want to plug in our next episode with Mr. Bob Lament. We are having a comedy 101 after this.
Okay,
Because
yeah, Comedy 101, yeah.
yes, Mr. Bob is specializing in comedy, right?
Oh, I try. I will say I'm a specialist in training. How's that? But I've been training a while, so
Yes, for sure. So can you train me as a comedian? Can you do that?
um, I don't. That'd be. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't want to. I don't want to say yes for sure. It's some of it, is kind of instinctual, so it's a little tough.
Is it takes time to be a comedian or it inborn to be a comedian?
I think you can do both. Just like in everything. I mean, you can always, train your way into something, but it is much easier for people if they're kind of born to it, you
Yes,
know.
for
So I think
sure.
that's a non-answer. That's my non-answer right there.
It's in your DNA to be
Yeah, I
born.
think some folks, yeah, it's just so easy for them that it just comes natural. But you can practice your way into anything. So
Yeah, it's natural for them just saying and then you're laughing. Say something and
yeah,
then wow, you're laughing at what they're saying. But anyway, we are on movie 101 people, so I we will give the drum roll or drum joke.
there you
That's a
go.
drum joke. Oh my god. Drum roll please. Yes. Mr. Bob, what will be our topic for today?
Well, as you can see, we're talking about Alien Romulus, which is the latest entry into the Alien franchise, I guess you'd say at this point. How many movies are in the Alien franchise? Let's take a guess here.
Yes, probably 10.
We got Alien,
Maybe
Aliens 2.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Alien 3. We've got Alien Resurrection,
Mm.
Prometheus. Wasn't there two Prometheus movies? So it's
Mm-hmm.
at six. This is like number seven.
Oh, seven. So my guess is
Well, no,
wrong.
an Alien versus Predator, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Is it only Ridley Scott or any alien?
no, no, because an Alien 2 was um, not Ridley Scott. It was the guy who did the Terminator. I'm blanking on his name now, but
I like the Sigourney Weaver version.
yeah.
It's
Let's
something
see.
good.
How many are there? I don't. I'm looking to see if they give me a number.
Let's see.
So there's six of them, and this would be the seventh one. Then that's what I thought.
Oh,
Alien
nice.
versus Predator. Alien versus Predator Requiem.
Yeah.
Prometheus. Alien Covenant. Alien. Alien Romulus now. Aliens, and that was by James Cameron. That's what I couldn't think of. Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection are all the Alien movies. But we're not
So,
going to talk about all of those. We're just going to talk about
alien, yeah.
Romulus.
So let's be futuristic, Mr. Bob. If you will do the Alien 8, what do you think would the next title of this Alien?
What's the next Alien movie?
Yes,
Well, they
alien title. If you're the director, let's say you are one of the biggest director right now, like
well
Ridley Scott.
you if you've done Romulus, now you have to do Remus
Wow, what's
because
it all about?
Romulus and Remus are the twins
For the
that
Roman gods.
were the symbol of the city of Rome, and so
Yeah.
they did Alien Romulus, right? So now they need to do Alien Remus.
Wow. So what is the premise of your movie, Mr. Bob Lamont?
So if we were doing Alien Remus, then it would be obviously it would be the twin of Romulus, and so it would be every time they do these kind of experiments, they always have a backup, right?
Yes.
It's never just
Mm,
one experiment. So they find the other lab that's trying to contain the alien species, and that's Remus. Although, unfortunately, in this movie, they actually had two halves to the lab. I don't know if you noticed it, but they actually had a Romulus side and a Remus side in
mm.
the movie.
Yes,
It was on
yes,
the
yes.
outside of the ship.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, they kind of ruined their sequel, but I would say they'd have another one, and we call it Remus, and then they would go and find that floating in another star system somewhere where they're doing the same kind of work, but with a different set of people. But I mean, most of the alien movies are not too different. It,
Yes.
they always encounter the alien, and then they kill everybody for the most part.
So if you are the director of the sequel for,
Mhm.
would you like a prequel or sequel for Alien? What
Oh,
would
I think it would be I think they have to do a sequel. I'll tell you
sequel?
this one, Alien Romulus. I'll tell you, it started out with a really good premise,
Yes,
and I,
totally
I
agree.
really like the first probably not quite half of the movie. I love the first half of the movie. Second half of the movie, but the first half of the movie was great. So they're on
Exciting.
this kind of like, in essence, kind of a work planet where they kind of trap people into working off, their sentence. Maybe they're not really there as a prisoner, but they're there kind of as indentured servants. And they have these two characters, and the female lead of Romulus is called Rain, and then she has a brother she calls Andy. And Rain and Andy's relationship, I thought, was really interesting. And I don't. You said we could do some spoilers, so this would be a mild spoiler. But Andy's not really her
Yes,
brother,
yes,
So, but I thought that the beginning of the movie, I thought that the relationship between the two of them was really um, quite good. I mean, I thought that part of the movie was really interesting and really different. So Andy is a synthetic, right? So he's a
yes.
robot, and he has basically been tasked by Rain's father to protect Rain, but he's kind of not, you know, the brightest robot in the selection. Um, he's kind of a simple robot. He's been damaged, and he does remember he's there to protect Rain, but he doesn't, he's not like a genius level kind of situation
Second
going on.
level.
Yeah. But it's very endearing. I thought that the guy, David Johnson, who played Andy, was really, really good at portraying Andy as kind of a simple synthetic person. And you know, I wish, if they could, if we could take this back, that they would go back and carry that relationship completely through the movie, where it's more them than it is kind of the other folks that they kind of get hooked into, because they Rain wants to get off this planet and go someplace else that's nicer,
To see
but
the sun.
she yeah, to see the sun, but they owe money, and they keep changing the amount that they owe because of, they don't get into the technical side of that, but basically she's kind of stuck working off her, the money that she owes. But she gets an opportunity with Tyler and Kay and Bjorn and Navarro to go and possibly get away off this planet. And so that's why they go with them. And Andy is becomes, kind of a plot point because he can get into this derelict space station that's above them, above this planet. And and Andy's just like, whatever you want me to do, Rain. He's just a simple, I'm here for you kind of person, which is very sweet. And I think that David Johnson played that character extremely well. And then Andy helps him get onto the space station, and that's where things kind of go sideways,
Yes. So
literally at times.
yeah. So do you think, Mr. Bob, they have unique characteristics of
Yeah.
all those? Yeah. There
And
is friendship for sure, right?
right, friendship, and then I mean there is, it is really, you really believe that Andy, the synthetic person, cares for Rain, whether or not it's real. You get that feeling, you know that he's not a real person. You find out he's a robot, and but you still feel, as he's portrayed, that he really does care about Rain, and Rain obviously cares about Andy deeply. And it was that relationship that I loved in the first part of the movie. And then
Yes.
as we got along and we got onto the space station, then Andy changes. And again, David Johnson, fantastic actor who takes that simple Andy character and he becomes, the genius level robot because they steal some programming from a robot who's on the station.
Yes.
And the wild thing is the robot that's on the station, right,
Yeah.
is the robot from the very first Alien movie. He's the same model, right?
Oh, yes.
Ian Holm, um they must have gotten permission from Ian Holm's family because he's been dead for quite some time, um, to use his likeness, and they did a really good job of making um, him look like Ash, which is the character that he portrayed in the original Alien back in 1979. Now, Ian Holm, he passed away in 2020, and they did a really really good job of making him look like a young Ian Holm again, don't you think?
Yes. It is a good job for everyone for bringing that guy.
Yeah.
Big, big applause. Thank you so much. It's something else. If you're a fan of Alien, you said, oh, kudos.
Yeah. And then obviously it was just half of him, but Andy then takes in Ash's programming and kind of goes off from there. Now he's got a new send of new directive. His one directive before was take care of Rain, and now his other directive is to not let the aliens get loose.
So, Mr. Bob,
Yeah.
what do you think Romulus differ from other extraterrestrial beings in the science fiction?
Well, I think they did. I mean, I think they tried to make it a little more. Well, all the Alien movies start out with being very, very human in its experience, right? So the first Alien
Yes.
movie, they're on the ship, and this all kind of happens to them, and it's interesting to me that Romulus really captured the world of the Alien movies, right? So not a lot of movies have a very particular look to them, right? So
Yes.
Star Wars has a certain look, Indiana Jones has a certain look, but Alien has a certain look, and they match that really, really well, as this kind of dystopian future where there's technology, but it's not, you know, it's not light years ahead of what we have now, but it's obviously different and has a certain kind of feeling towards it. It's kind of dark. It's kind of clunky. It's not the best technology, and I think they really captured that. And with this one, and then obviously the aliens. The aliens do the same thing in every movie, which is kind of the letdown, to be honest with you, in the sense that they jump on people's faces and and put their offspring in them to be to become to burst out of their chests later, use the people for food for their young aliens, and they're just basically a survival uh alien. You know what I mean? All they're a whole
Yes.
scene. They don't like want to steer the ship. They don't want to learn anything. They don't want to they don't want to actually accomplish, they're not building anything. All they're doing is surviving, and they're kind of the ultimate survivalist, if you will. And that's what happens again in this movie, which is holds true, right? So
Yes.
although we do get some kind of I don't know, should we give away the surprise thing at the end, but there is kind of a weird thing happening at the end. um
Yes.
but for the most part, the aliens act just like they did in every movie, which is it turns into kind of an extraterrestrial uh, hatchet movie where the aliens are the bad guys, and they just basically wipe out all of the humans in
Mm.
various creative ways.
So, Mr. Bob, if you will be the director itself, what
Mhm.
part or which part of the movie you want to modify or add?
The last part. I mean, it was action packed. It was a great action movie, but I think that, and they tried to carry forward this Andy Rain um relationship, right? It turns out, Rain essentially saves Andy, really. But I think at the beginning that relationship was a little bit different and a little more sweet and kind and interesting, whereas at the end it was kind of your typical action movie in the Alien sense. um in At the end they're just trying to get away and so forth. But I think it would have been nicer to have a little more of that sweetness and connection between those two characters at the end, where at the end they're just kind of running for their lives, and they don't interact the same way as they did at the beginning. So I think that's what I would change. I understand why. I mean, that's what people, when they see an alien movie, this is what they want, right? This is the
Yes.
kind of movie that they want to see. But it's to me, the interesting thing is, compared to some of the other Alien franchise movies, I think this one really had a lot going for it at the beginning of the movie, and it kind of let go of some of those pieces after towards the end, and just was kind of a big explosions and aliens chasing people movie, rather than that character driven movie that they started with.
Yes, when I'm watching this, I'm not concentrating watching it. But for the first and half, as you said, well, I do really concentrate what will be the next scene, because it's something, oh my goodness, what will be the next and the next.
Mhm.
So what do you think, which part of the movie that lack of something?
Which part? Which scene lacked
Yes,
something?
yeah, lack for something, probably they did not give deeper meaning for that scene.
Well, I think if we're going to go to the transformation, right? So one of the characters, I believe it was Kay, is pregnant, and she's on this mission, and then she gets captured by the aliens to be used as food, right? And basically a, a baby hatchery, or whatever you want to call it. And but then there's a
Incubator.
yeah, incubator, yeah, thanks. And but then whenever, so they the whole she wasn't that far along in her pregnancy, she was just starting. but because of the alien, it accelerated things. And then she had this hybrid, alien human hybrid thing, right?
Mm.
And
Yes.
I think they could have gotten a little. Now, this is not the first time this has happened. It happened, in another alien movie. I'm trying to remember which one it was now off the top of my head, but let me look real quick. I have all the alien movies pulled up here so I can look at the things. I think it was,
Gonna Weaver.
yeah, it was it. I think it was Aliens 3. Oh, it was Aliens Resurrection. Alien Resurrection. It was kind of a human, hybrid, alien. So they had a similar thing in Romulus. The whole idea is that the company is trying to make a super soldier by fusing these two things together. Well, they didn't give a lot of explanation how the alien did that with K. It seemed like it was pretty straightforward alien stuff where they hopped on her face and stuck the baby down in her to be incubated. So they didn't go into that part of it where she had a hybrid baby. And so I think that they fell off there too. Again, this was at the end of the movie, so it wasn't as if, the whole back part of the movie, they just make leaps and jumps and don't give you a lot of detail. It's all just action, moving, explosions, get someplace. Whereas the front part was much more thought through. But don't get me wrong, it's still a fun movie. I'm
It's a
sounding
fun yes.
negative, but we are, critiquing things. So,
Yes.
but it was a very fun movie to watch, and I would say, considering that we don't have Sigourney Weaver in this one because she's obviously getting older, and you don't. The only person you have back is Ash, who is really not him because he passed away, 4 years ago, 5 years ago at this point. Um, it really is a very well done alien movie compared to some of the other ones. I would say, out of all the ones, I think I've seen all of them. This is up there. So Alien, obviously the first one's the best one. I loved Aliens 2 when it came out. Aliens, they don't call it Alien 2, but Aliens. And then I think this one would be the my third favorite one out of the
Wow.
group. Yeah.
So let's
It,
give them a big, big applause. Because it's your number three best alien so far. Wow. And I just want to focus on one of the innovation in the movie that sooner or later I hope we will invent this. That the airplane will need a runway to go up, right?
Mhm.
Imagine if we can invent that we don't need runway so that we can fly over the moon. Don't you
Yeah, it would
think?
be great if we could have spaceships that would just launch themselves without all of the booster rockets and everything. That would be great.
That'd
Yeah.
be awesome. We are calling
Yeah.
Elon Musk, please.
Well,
Invent something.
he's too busy catching the booster rockets. I think he likes booster rockets because he's got these big arms catching rockets out of the air. So
Yes,
yeah, maybe well, hopefully he'll move in that direction.
definitely. So, Mr. Bob, how does Romulus navigate space travel and exploration?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is that it didn't seem like that and I'm trying to remember, but it didn't seem like they went too far away from the planet to get to this star base or whatever, to
Yes.
get to Romulus and Remus. And so, but the ship was very much like the Nostromo, I think was the name of the original alien ship, and operated very similarly, to that as well. Obviously, in 1979 they didn't have the technology to even make technology look like it was something, and now they do. And so I think it's probably fairly tough to hold yourself back not to make it even look cooler than it did back in 79. But I think they did a pretty good job. But I
Something
think,
missing.
yeah, I think that they were in space, but they weren't too far away from the planet. They still were in the the planet they were on had rings of some kind, like Saturn, although it
Saturn.
wasn't called Saturn, but because that's where the space station eventually crashed into the rings, and so that was very interesting. I thought. I mean, you don't see a lot of space movies where they actually have planets that are different than Earth. Everything is usually Earth-like, right? They're down on Earth. Maybe it's polluted, or maybe it looks a little different, and what have you. But they don't have rings or big gas, enclosures. So I did think that was quite interesting that they were on a planet with rings, with all these, basically meteorites that were circling the planet, and ice crystals and whatnot. That was definitely different.
Different. Yes. What do you think, Mr. Bob, if Earth have rings like Saturn? What do you think? What is your
Uh,
opinion about that?
I think
Just-
we probably wouldn't be doing as well. I think because I think that's part of that having rings like that is stuff keeps falling from the sky a lot.
Asteroids. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Things will crash down onto the planet more often, and so we'd have another thing to worry about other than earthquakes
We
and
need
tsunamis.
umbrella shield.
Exactly.
For sure, the satellite will always disconnected if you have lots of rings all over
Yeah,
the planet.
right.
If I'm not mistaken. So, Mr. Bob, this is your third alien bash. What is missing that it's in your number? Why it's not in your number one?
Well, the first one was, kind of groundbreaking because no one had ever done a movie like that. And then the second one I thought was the second one to me is kind of a classic sci-fi action movie. I mean, you can hardly get a better, something that actually happens on off the planet Earth as an action movie in science fiction. Aliens is way up there, and they really did a good job, portraying that. I think for this one, it seemed like it was still set in the alien kind of ambiance, but it was obviously a different world and so forth. And so I think the only thing it really lacked was, to me, was the fact that the story didn't hold together as well. The other two, the story moves and you follow it and it all makes sense. This one, I think that I really wanted the Rain Andy, kind of uh, connection to be stronger and follow all the way through the script, and that's where I think it fell off.
Yes, probably and exactly. So before we go on, Mr. Bob, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, Food 101, our fifth season already, people. Yay! Fifth season already with my partner, Chef Alessandro, one of the specialty chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. So please do listen to our episode tomorrow. We're gonna talk about, for sure, it's simple but delicious food. So please do listen, Food 101. And of course, my Book 101 review in its fifth season coming to this coming February. So my feature author of the month of December, award-winning author, Miss Kat Rambo. So please do listen, Book 101 review. Mr. Bob, do you have something to plug in?
You can always listen to my silly stories at staticradio.com, at static radio on the socials. Anytime you want to have a chuckle, stop by and take a listen.
Yes. What something that you can offer there, Mr. Bob?
Oh, so this week I talked about a story about basically going to the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas a number of years ago, and my boss at the time doing crazy things while we were there.
Yes, crazy things. They saying that what happened in Vegas stay in Vegas.
Well, at least for a good 15 years. And then after that, then I talk about it.
Just like spoilers. We are allowed to do spoilers if the movie's already what 10 years, 15 years. So to sum up our discussion, Mr. Bob, Alien, is it highly recommended or not?
I think well, it's highly recommended if you've ever seen an alien movie or want to see an alien movie. You have to see it. It's part of the collection, right? And it's better
Yes.
than most. So it's even better for you to watch it. If you're looking for a good action movie, it's a very good action movie. If you're not into science fiction or action, then maybe you don't want to watch it. But I can't imagine anybody doesn't want to watch those something like that. You
Ye-
think?
Yes. People, Alien for me is highly recommended for the first half. For the first half. But anyway, Alien is an alien movie that we need to watch because it's fascinating or fascinate us in terms of science fiction. So, Mr. Bob, thank you for your time. Medical people, see you soon. Okay, so let's do our comedy